I got this podcast. I got a hit podcast. What can I say? It's really more of a web show. But anywho, we good?
That's true. That is true.
It's really more of a web show.
Yeah, man.
but
Let's
I like to.
do it.
I like the podcast. You good?
Yeah.
Here we go. Dana Slick Game Podcast, episode 20. William, it's been a while. How are you doing?
I'm good, man. Let's go.
Good to hear. So, software update. Nowhere around software update. So, there's pretty extensive research. I think it was in Thinking Fast and Slow Dating Comment about how undecided voters vote based on how they feel the morning of, like whether like their level, if they're hot, they might vote one way. For example, that has to be a huge issue when we think about the decision-making process as a whole. I think about like weather. I think about other patterns. How do we fix this in our brains, and how do we make it? How do we like hack our dumb monkey brains to fix this one? I need some help.
Yeah, I guess my first concern is just like, okay, what people are so on the edge, they're so undecided that like, just like,
Right.
just the wind. Part of me just thinks like, that's not something we need to update. Like, there's always going to be someone who's like right on the edge where this tiny little thing like the weather can push them to one way.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, it's interesting. I had my first experience this past March as an undecided voter in the primary. I guess we're showing our political bias here. Voted out in California, but there were like 48 names in the Democratic primary, and I was like, I'm just gonna like go into the booth and see what happens. So that was kind of fun. It was just an interesting little experience. And then I voted early, and then like 3 days later, everyone like dropped. So it was like the day before. I was gonna vote for Andrew Yang, but then he was like he had just dropped the day before. But anyway, yeah, I guess it just is a function of how our decision making is flawed as a whole. How we navigate that? I don't know.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of it's like like elections are just like a carry on from middle school like popularity contests sometimes. It's kind
Yeah,
of
it's not just about elections, but that was just one of the first examples that popped in my brain. I was thinking about
yeah, no, I'm sure a lot of decision making. I mean, if you look at, it'd be interesting to look at like time of day and temperature correlated with other, areas of strife and decision making. Like when do kids ask their parents for permission to do stuff on the weekends?
Yeah.
Definitely, you want to ask Friday afternoon when dad has his beer.
Right. Not even with work. Like I never ask for anything from my like boss or like if I just lose a deal, I'm like, hey, can we get this new vendor? Like, no, hell no. But like we just win something. Yeah, okay, that's it, bro. So decision making's hard.
Okay, logical fallacy here.
Yeah.
Pretty simple one. So it's be like Mike, eat your Wheaties. So what's the?
I suppose advertising 101. I mean, it's like just because you eat these granulated sugar flakes doesn't mean that you're going to become the greatest athlete to ever walk the face of the earth. It's a bit post hoc, I suppose. Correlation is not causation.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's exactly the one. But
yeah, it's kind of like that, and it's the start of like a bandwagon effect too, where you get like an iconic person to get followers to get momentum, kind of induced momentum on something.
Yeah.
I think we're super susceptible to this though.
Yeah.
Like big time, and I think it's interesting. I find it interesting that like people when they see someone like them doing something, like they get so inspired by it. Like it's really moving, but it's also like, why do we need someone? I don't know, I don't know why that's a thing. That like if that's where your motivation comes from, it's like cool. Especially I think kids are really susceptible to this. But if you're like a grown adult and you're like, I need to see someone who has red hair do this, it's just like, dude.
More like a red beard. Anyone's got a red beard. I'm like,
But you know what I mean,
interesting. I find myself like that too. I guess it could even be a software update at the end of the day. But yeah, it's weird how you can connect to someone. It's not necessarily like it looks like you, but more their journey. I think it's the power of the story once again. How it's like so we connect to that just like so hard, we just cling to it. But anything else is like really tough for our brain to.
Yeah, maybe that's a proxy for story sometimes.
Yeah. But the like Mike thing, it's just great advertising. It's like, damn, those dudes crushed it back in the 80s, late 80s, 90s, fucking killing the game.
Similar times back then with advertising, right? No,
that was really my point. It's like you're seeing a rise of that, like the influencer marketing now. It's like really, it's totally different. In fact, it changes so rapidly. It's pretty wild with new technology and what have you. So I don't know if we got the real huge depths there, but I think we solved that one. So we got a tip of the day, segment 3. All right, so here's the tip. You got a good buddy, and he has a really bad gambling problem. The consensus is that you should say nothing about gambling, nothing about cards, nothing about betting on the game. I think we should be doing the exact opposite. If your boy has a big gambling problem, hey Jim, let's go to the casino right now. Come on, let's go to the casino. Get them to opt out as opposed to just like beating around the bush and pretending it's not there. That's my tip of the day. I think it's way smart.
And then it's like, and then if they say, yeah, let's do it, then you're just like, F you, man, you fell
If they
for
say, yeah,
it.
let's do it, means that they still have issues that they need to figure out. You know what I mean?
Right.
But if they don't, if they're like, no, man, like, I can't do that, like, then that's a good thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I think this is huge because it's an identity shift when you're able to say no. And the same when you say yes. So like when you start something new, like let's say you want to start running, like the first time you do actually go running, it's a big deal because you're like, oh, I'm the kind of person who goes running now. Like you change it, like I decided to. Or if you look at the fridge and you finally decide not to have a Coke, you're like, oh, I'm the kind of person who says no to Cokes now. So,
Like,
yeah,
whoa.
no, but I think the feedback loop between it's like you want to act yourself into being a better person, not like think yourself, right?
Yeah.
Like the actions will shape how you have your self concept, and then that's you want to start with the actions, not with the thinking, right?
Yeah, I think it's somebody said about like getting that little like urge from someone that you trust too, like from a friend or from someone that isn't just like your own self, little devil on your shoulder saying, hey, do this thing, do this thing.
Yeah.
It's like if it comes from someone else, I feel like you can more easily be like, ah, fuck you, man, I don't want to do that shit. If it's something that's a negative habit for you.
No, it makes me think of just like the most meaningful change. Like we are most geared for person-to-person change, right? Like someone in our life changes our lives. Like we're not. It's very difficult for us to learn in like this kind of separate through a screen without someone as like kind of a guru type figure. It's very hard for us to learn from other experiences.
Yeah, interesting. You probably see a lot of teaching. So that's great.
Yeah, definitely with the distance learning stuff.
Yeah.
All right, Dan. So world of fashion. You're a big fashion guy. I got always the nicest brands on Dan over there. One thing that's really hard to predict is where fashion trends go, and they're often these costly signals that are just like completely arbitrary when you look at them. So you have the magic wand to decide the next big fashion trend that lasts centuries, such as the tie. Where do we go?
Ooh, you got me with the tie. I like that.
It can be silly or completely utilitarian, but most fashion is pretty silly.
Yeah, there's no real need for the tie. Dude, I don't know, man. That's so tough. I don't know, can you give me a few to jog my brain here?
So I think right now we're kind of seeing like whittling away at these like weird social norms around masculinity.
Yeah.
And so I think as that becomes more like kind of amorphous, we're going to see a rise in some sort of like high-end fashion that is on the guy's side, but it's like something that we usually don't think of as guy fashion. So think like earrings are a big thing now. Like a lot of guys have earrings. A lot of like just piercings in general. Yeah, I think something like that maybe. Like
Yeah,
the
I think
accessorizing. I think that's becoming like I see just a lot of guys do that now. You know?
I could break some things that are out. I don't know if I could break some things that are coming in. Maybe bring back the fedora. I don't know. I like the fedora. The fedora's a good look. You know. I guess that's probably more masculine than. Yeah, it could be a rise of the masculinity again. I don't know, I could see the. You know. I guess I don't want to go down that rabbit hole. I don't have much on this.
I think it's weird because like I don't think we're gonna get many like traditional clothing anymore. Like I don't think any clothing that is created from now onwards will become traditional. Like it just changes too much. You know.
Yeah.
Like we're never gonna have a period of 200 years of the same thing that establishes a tradition moving forward. Isn't that weird? Like
I think we should start wearing shawls, like a proper like men should start wearing like just very very costly shawls. That's the only way. That's the only way. On that note, I'm getting on Amazon right now. I'm gonna buy myself a shawl. I don't even know what a shawl is really, but.
I had something to say on the. Darn! What was your the tip of the day? What were you saying at the end of it?
Oh, with how it helps to have someone that you're connected to, be that little devil. On your
Okay,
shoulder.
so here's my thing. Is like we need to figure out a way, because everybody knows, like when you look at the statistics of it's like what's the most useful thing you can do to help get out the vote. The most useful thing is like to reach out to people you know in battleground states. And it's like, okay, it all comes down to like these people you know. So it's like, you know, that person-to-person contact is like the most important thing. And it's like, but how do you systemize that? Because it's so hard. So like, it's like this weird square circle problem where you like just can't get these interpersonal mechanisms to function at a reliable scale.